Some good friends of mine and Amy's have a long-standing tradition every year at their 4th of July party. Between burgers, beer, and swimming, and just before diving into the traditional red, white, and blue strawberry whipped cream and blueberry cake, which is delicious. Thank you, Susan. They take a moment to don colonial hats, wave American flags, and read the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. I promise I won't read the entire thing. That's not the sermon. But even at the time of its writing, the Declaration of Independence was an aspirational document. Aspirational not only in its call for independence from the British monarchy, but in its vision of the society it was trying to create. If we were to be a little more honest and include some of the broader context of the realities of life in the colonies in 1776, it might read something more like this. We hold these truths to be self-evident to those who have been fortunate enough to have had access to an adequate education and are also in a socioeconomic position in which they are allowed to hold and exhibit agency. That all men, as in white men, and men, not women, not men as in humanity, are created equal. That is, white men are seen as equal, but slaves are understood as 3/5 of a person. That they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Unalienable unless you are a woman, a slave, or a member of pretty much any other non-white minority. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, unless you're under the ownership of someone else who is free to decide your fate without any legal repercussions. But to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that is, free, land-owning white men. Are we living up to these aspirations today? Did we ever? Even as Thomas Jefferson penned them in June of 1776, there were obvious and complex contradictions present. Perhaps most markedly, Jefferson's own participation in and benefits from the system of chattel slavery. But still, the Declaration of Independence has served as a North Star, a guiding light of morality, inspiring even those, especially those overlooked by this document, to help America and Americans live up to its ideals. In his I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. recalled the Declaration's inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, saying, "America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned." 250 years is indeed an important milestone in America's history. And like any milestone, birthday, or anniversary, it's an opportunity and an invitation for reflecting on our history, our values, and the trajectory of our future. In honor of America's 250th birthday, a number of Jewish organizations have offered texts and other resources for this moment of reflection and renewal. In one collection of essays reflecting on the Declaration of Independence from the Pardes Institute, called The Talmud of America, Rabbi Leon Morris, president of Pardes, reflects on the contradictions of the American experience. He writes, "Equality can be proclaimed and yet unrealized. Rights can inspire even as they obscure deeper obligations. And freedom, like commitment, must be lived and not merely declared." He continues, "The Talmud preserves its arguments because they matter. It teaches that truth is rarely the product of easy agreement, but of sustained engagement with complexity. To create a Talmud of America is to extend that practice outward, to treat the United States Declaration of Independence not as a conclusion, but as a beginning. This is our contribution to the nation that has been both refuge and home for the Jewish people since its earliest days. A country which, in the words of George Washington, offers to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance." The ethos and ideals of America, of our democracy, the shape of our government, have also had great influence on the American Jewish community as well. Think about how many Jewish institutions operate with bylaws and constitutions, whose boards have presidents and treasurers. That language is no accident, and is in many ways uniquely American. Even our reform movement, with its emphasis on individual autonomy, evolved in significant and different ways in America, where the traditional notion of obligation has always been in direct tension with the American notion of rights. As we reflect on this 250th birthday, we must continue to ask ourselves, who do we aspire to be as a country? We are in the midst of one of the most contentious, divisive moments in American politics, and that divisiveness has permeated and torn at the fabric of American society. It has impacted synagogues, ours included, and Thanksgiving dinner tables, where those on the right and those on the left have either become mired in ongoing arguments or find that they can't actually speak about politics or social issues, stuck in silence. And this is to say nothing of the systemic brokenness that plagues our country, whether it's immigration or healthcare or housing. These broken systems require creative, collaborative solutions across lines of political, ideological differences. As we've seen, the combative politics of divisive vitriol and Democrats versus Republicans has just locked us into a never-ending cycle of grievances rather than real governance. My hope is that as we start this new chapter together, here at Beth Am, we can be a space in which we begin to model respectful, generative conversations, in which we might disagree with each other, even on big issues, but still find ways to work together and to remain in community. Whether that's in the realm of Israel, for which we received our first training in sacred disagreement, Machlochet L'Shem Shamayim, from Rabbi Amy Eilberg earlier this spring, or engaging with our broader community partners to find thoughtful, collaborative solutions to local issues and fix broken systems through our community organizing work with Silicon Valley Allied for the Common Good. We Jews are get knocked down, get back up again people. And I think that that's true of Americans too. We cannot be afraid to hold on to hope. Consider for a moment this week's Torah portion, in which the 5 daughters of Tzlofachad see an unfair law and bravely take a stand, working together to change and heal an unjust, broken system. I'd like to end with this poem by my colleague in Connecticut, Rabbi Evan Schultz, with thanks to Rabbi Dantowitz for sharing it with me. It's called America is a Chorus. America is a chorus of stories, alleyways, protests, immigrants, freedoms, books, banned books, dreamers, and tireless believers. America is a chorus of tragedies, crumbling bridges, building bridges, politics, truths, slavery, soldiers, Main Street, smoke, and gunshots. America is a chorus of I pledge allegiance, dear Mr. President, I was born in a small town, New York, New York. America is a chorus of the tired, the poets, the songwriters, sleepless parents, sleepless children, debates, my rights, this land is your land. America is a chorus of thoughts and prayers, no more thoughts and prayers, churches, steeples, minarets, atheists, and shuls. America is a chorus of journeyers, generations, revolutionaries, revelers, rebels, history book writers, and historical change makers. America truly is a chorus. Shabbat Shalom. Happy 4th of July.